live now. People who want the live show, it's there. All right, let me make sure the recording is good and ready to go. It looks like it is. All right, you guys, I'm gonna hit record here locally. You guys ready to rock and roll?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
rocking and rolling down to the beach. I'm strolling.
Here we go. Now, when you do take off, it's going to change up the screen. So, Joe, when he leaves, you're going to have to talk about something so I can rearrange the cameras and everything else to smoothly transition. We'll see what happens.
We call that vamping. You're going to vamp.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this thing.
Okay, pushy.
He wants to go get on his plane and go to Chicago.
Yeah, no
That's
kidding.
tomorrow.
Is it frozen on that screen where I choose which
Yes.
thing I want for you guys? Okay, so let me stop share and resume share.
Yeah. All right, here we go, everybody. Welcome to Pokemon GO Podcast. We're your number one source for news, reviews, tips, techniques, and cool stuff that's going to happen this weekend at Pokemon GO Fest.
Woo-hoo!
I had Rock Out Podcasting Charles McFall. The man not going to Pokemon GO Fest is me. The other man not going to Pokemon GO Fest is Brian Ibbott.
That's right. Yes, neither of us going to Pokemon Go Fest, I'm afraid, but we will be there virtually via proxy.
Because the man
don't spoof.
Third man
Don't
right
spoof.
The man that is sneaking in the back to try to get his illegal recording gear is Joseph Hart.
It's not. There's nothing illegal about it.
Hey, I read the notes. It's
Media
banned.
pass.
You can't bring recorded stuff in, Joe. I'm saying it's banned.
Media pass. I'm allowed to bring any professional recording equipment I want. Not that I have any, but I'm allowed to bring it.
There you go. So, Joe, I know you're excited right now. Are you going to be able to sleep tonight, sir?
Oh yeah, I'll sleep like a baby.
Oh, well, thanks for not playing into that. Okay.
I won't be able to work very well. I won't be able to concentrate at work tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. You're going to work for a little bit before you go.
Oh, wow.
I'm doing a full day of work and then leaving straight from work to the airport.
Like a crazy person.
I know. And then I'm staying up until like 2 a.m. at the meetup.
So I wanna Vladivostok. You'd win that bet. I want to know in the chat room live here on twitch.tv/Pokemon Go Podcast, how many people are going to Pokemon Go Fest this weekend? I'd like to see how you guys do. And while you're answering that, Joe, what's your experience of the week this week, sir?
Oh man, it's been quite the week. So one of our patrons, Dirty Jim, was up in the area this past weekend. And so him and his wife, Lady Bree, came and went Pokemon hunting with me and my family on Saturday during the Articuno Day event when every gym had an Articuno. And so we ended up, due to time constraints, we only played for about a little over an hour. But we ended up getting in, or no, 2 hours. I lie. We got 2 hours in. But we ended up getting in 9 Articuno raids during that time. And between all of the accounts, we only got 2 shiny Articunos. And I think they were on secondary accounts, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was on Dirty Jim had 3 other phones with him. His daughters and one of their friends. And I think it was one of the daughters and the friend. And the friend barely even plays now, apparently. Those accounts got the shiny Articuno.
That's a bummer.
But with that, from all of that rating came something else. My first EX raid pass.
Oh, nice.
And so Dirty Jim, I don't know if he's going to be able to come back for it because him and his wife both got it as well.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so for next Thursday, I'm going to be going to an EX raid. I'm going to ask my supervisor if I can change my work from home day to Thursday, which he probably will let me. They're pretty relaxed like that, and I'll just take a late lunch. So,
does your supervisor play?
No.
Oh, see, that would help too, right? Like,
I think that was a beginner tip that we gave you, Joe. Was like, get your boss hooked on the game. Then you
right,
can
exactly.
time to go play.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, my wife's planning on meeting me out there, and we'll take that sucker down.
Nice.
That's gonna be cool, man.
Yeah, make sure you get there a few minutes early because unless there's good coordination, it's like people who are there early are just gonna like go.
Oh, there is good coordination. Our local Discord does is they set up a separate chat room for every EX raid that spawns.
Oh, nice.
And Articuno Day actually spawned 13 different EX raids in this area. Several that had never spawned EX raids before. So
I really like how they did that too, where it was like a constant raid for the 3 hours. Like there was no, the countdown was just for the entire 3 hours. So the raid was going constantly. You could jump in, jump out, and then go find another one, jump in, jump out, it's great.
And so much experience. It was awesome.
Oh yeah. Right.
Pop the lucky egg. Plus there was,
did you gain a level?
No. Okay. But the bonuses from Dortmund as well that provided the double experience on raid battles. So it was lot of experience. It was nice.
Nice.
Very cool, Joe.
Yeah,
Mander says 26 raids and 1 shiny for me, none for my daughter. Steven Radke got his first EX on Community Day.
Nice.
So very, very cool. Terry Wolf. Yep. Terry Wolf is the 1%. I mean, he is the 1%. I did 20 raids and got 3 shinies.
I know.
Nobody asked Terry.
I was surprised at how low the shiny rate was for Articuno Day, to be honest. It seemed pretty low across the board. But then, I mean, so we had Articuno Day, and then the next day was the Squirtle Community Day.
Right.
I got 0 shinies except I got 0 normal shinies, but I got 2 shinies with sunglasses.
Okay.
And from all the reports I heard, if a research task gave you a shiny Squirtle with sunglasses, it was a shiny Squirtle with sunglasses to everyone
Correct.
who picked up the research task.
I went to that same Pokestop. Yep, yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah, we did the same. Like in Arvada, we identified which ones they were, and immediately everybody flocked to those, did their 5, and then got the shiny with sunglasses.
Yep, and of course I hatched everything that I had because we had the quarter distance on eggs.
Yeah.
So, and I had a bunch of super incubators, so mine was actually a 1/6 distance.
So
nice.
You put it in an incubator and then went, and it popped open the egg for you? Is that how that works?
Pretty much. Like that's how quick, yeah. That's how quick it was.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it was fun. So good stuff. Cool.
Nice. I honestly can't not even remember what I did last Saturday. Sunday, I ended up having a lot of stuff go on, so I didn't go out for Community Day. But I was trying to do the raids. I ended up because I streamed the other game on Sunday afternoon. And then we were going to see not Jurassic World, Ant-Man. We were going to see Ant-Man Sunday night. So I was like, you got to choose your battles. But Ibbott, you did. So I got some adventures, but you did some really cool stuff.
Yeah, so let's talk about Articuno Day first. Went out with Tina in the morning and hit Arvada Center, which is a good place to start. 3 gyms, like right all within. You can stand in one place and reach all 3 gyms. And so we had enough people from Arvada that we had to split into multiple groups by faction, and that's where I ended up getting an EX pass for. So I got an EX pass from that. Also for Thursday, so you and I will both be attacking Mewtwo on Thursday and talking about our exploits on the show. I ended up doing maybe 8. It was super hot. It was like 95 degrees out. So Tina and I ended up doing 7 or 8 raids, and neither of us got a shiny. I think I ended up catching, let me see. I think I ended up catching like 6 out of the 8 though.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have a total of 11 Articuno right now. No 100%, but a couple that were really close. And So I've got a few decent ones and I've got a few garbage ones, but I'm holding on to all of them in case somebody needs them to trade later on. The next day was Squirtle Day, and ended up with 2 shiny with sunglasses, 2 shiny without sunglasses, and one of the shiny with sunglasses was 98% IVs, so that's the one I decided to
Nice.
to evolve. And so I've got a big dude with sunglasses. And also during that day, and or maybe it was the day before, because of the lucky egg and the combo with the XP boost, I hit 38. So now I'm sitting on
Wow.
38.
Nice.
And then just to kind of complete the banner week, did the field research tasks. And when did I send the text to you? I think it was Tuesday. I sent the text to you guys that the Snorlax that popped out of the research task deal was 100% IVs, and I wasn't sure if Snorlax was viable as a gym defender anymore, but I'm glad to hear that he still is. So of course I loaded a bunch of candy into him, both regular Snorlax candy and rare candy, and got him up there. So he's now one of my go-tos for gyms. One more quick experience of the week, because it was a bad experience of the week. Have I told you guys? So I know I go on ad infinitum about the Arvada Pokemon group. Have I mentioned the Golden group? So I'm right on the edge of Golden and Arvada. So I can go one way to Arvada, another way to Golden. Arvada does everything via Facebook. They'll post the raid in Facebook, and then people will say, "I'm coming to that one, bringing 2 accounts or whatever." The Golden group uses Discord, and somebody has created a bot in the Discord group that all you have to do is take a screenshot of the raid and upload it, and from that it figures out the location and creates a map link to it, creates a brand new channel in the Discord, creates figures out the time that it's going to launch from that. And also, so in that new channel now, all you have to do is, if you're interested, do !I, and it'll automatically add you to the interested list. And so at the very top, it'll keep account of who's coming. When you get to the location, you do !H to say, "I'm here." J is like, "I'm on the way," etc. Like, there's a bunch of little exclamation point commands that you can use, and it makes raid coordination so amazingly easy, because then you don't have to do the whole thing when you get there of like, "All right, is Bob, you said you'd be here, is Bob here yet?" Because everybody who's checked in automatically shows up in this list. It is so cool, and I'd love to see. Man, this person probably could make a killing selling the customizations, doing the same customization for other Pokemon Go groups across the way. Anyway, so I saw one today that was just 10 minutes away from me. I'm like, oh, I could totally go and do that one. I let them know I was coming, hopped in the car, drove over there, and it was 5 of us, 4 level 40 accounts, and me and my lowly level 38 account, and Regice. And so we fired up the raid. We started battling, and we got 3/4 of the way. Like, basically, we were ahead of the curve on everything. Got it down to a quarter before a quarter of the time was left. Got it down to half before half the time was left. Like, really, really kicking butt on it. But about 2/3 of the way to a quarter or 3/4 of the way through the raid, everything stopped except the timer. Timer kept going, but our damage to Regice and his damage to our Pokemon was not registering. We were not taking him down any further, and he also wasn't causing any damage to us.
Interesting.
And so we're like, and we noticed that, we're like, all right, well, it must have just been a server glitch. Darn. All right, well, we'll time ran out. And so we're like, all right, well, let's get back in with our raid passes. We even went into heal, and none of our Pokemon that were in that fight, even though they had gotten switched out prior to that freeze, none of our Pokemon needed healing.
Whoa.
Which was really weird. So we got back in, we went and tried to do it again. The same thing happened. 2/3 of the way it froze, and same thing. Timer kept going. Everything else was just frozen. We're like, all right, let's back out, because one of our players had to go to an EX raid today. So we're like, all right, well, you go on ahead. Let's get in there one more time, see if we can take it down. If we don't, then we don't, because we're just not going to have time. Tried it a 3rd time, got it down to a quarter, and it did the same thing, where it just froze and did that irritating thing. So we're like, I guess we're not getting this one. And We all traded trainer codes for for gifts, which we probably should have done. It'd been smarter for us to do that beforehand and get
to build up
the
your
bonus
experience rating together. Yeah.
right. But yeah, it did that annoying freeze thing, and Terry Wolf says that happened to him on Monday. So irritating, because like we easily could have taken it down. We were there. We were like ahead of the game, and we were knocking it out. But for whatever reason, server just did not agree.
Weird. That is.
So that's the sad experience of the week to go along with all the happy experiences of the week. How about you, Charles? What was your experience of the week?
Well, I got twofold. One is we, Pokemon Go Podcast, are now affiliates here on Twitch, and we're all set up. So if you're the pro Twitcher that some people are, you got Twitch Prime, Amazon Prime. Those are free subscribe tokens you can give us to help support the show, which would be awesome. You can do bits. You can learn. I mean, Ibbott might actually know more about this stuff than I do. All I know is we made affiliate, which means you guys got us there by watching every week and hanging out with us, and we very much appreciate and say thank you for helping us get to that level. And that's been awesome. Then the other thing this week, I completed another set of 7 research tasks and caught a Terry is Dead to Me. So I have 2 versions, right? I got the Terry's Dead to Me one, and then I got the rarer version, Zinzaloo is Dead to Me. So both are, that's of course Snorlax's. I did catch one live on the show last week, which was a lot of fun, and it's cool. It was cool to get it done and have it, and it's nice to scroll through and see that it's there. And
is the new one that you have better IVs than the one you got last week?
I think so. I have to look at it. I keep forgetting to put the Poke Genie on the phone to check it out. So but doing the Valor thing, it had all the high marks. The attack was great. It just simply amazes me, and I forget what the other one that is super great is. So it's not a perfect IV one, because I think, Joe, you said you had to have a health, defense, and attack be impressive.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. It only did the attack was impressive, but it seems like it is possibly better IVs than the last one. Either way, I got the twinsy sets, so I'm good now on that.
Nice. Good.
And big shout, thank you, Nicole, just subscribed with Twitch Prime, so thank you very much for that.
Oh, very cool. Also, probably a good time to let people know. We'll let you know also at the end of the show. But starting next week, you won't have to keep track using a slide rule or a sundial or like the phases of the moon or whatever to keep track of what time we're on every Thursday, because we're going to be on a regular time, 7:30 Eastern time. That's PM, 7:30 PM Eastern time every week for Pokemon Go. So now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Pokemon Go. Yes. So yeah, that's going to help out everybody. Every week it's going to be 7:30 PM Eastern without fail, and that's going to be awesome.
Because we do the show, and we even have to ask each other sometimes what time we're recording. It's like, so if we can't keep track, we know you can't. So from now on, moving forward.
I took it on myself to be the timekeeper and try to get in there on Thursday mornings and be like, hey, tonight's the 7 o'clock one. Tonight's the 8 o'clock one. The Tuesday of this week, you were planning ahead, but you're like,
right.
Hey, is this week the 6th? Or the 8 o'clock one? Yeah, it is. And then I got into our other group and went, tonight we're doing it at 6. And everyone's like, we moved the show? I was like, oh, crap, it's Tuesday. My bad.
Yeah.
So, all right. We have got some headlines, and you can imagine it's mostly about Chicago and the Pokemon Go Fest.
Imagine that.
So I know, Joe, you gotta be like on a Mountain Dew high right now and just bouncing in your seat, right? I just want to know right now at this moment, how excited is your inner child right now?
It's got to be like Christmas level, right? It's got to be.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Like working today, I was like just plugging along because I had to, but even though my fingers were typing kind of sort of what I was supposed to be typing, my mind was completely on Pokemon. And so yeah, I am just I'm ecstatic to go. I was getting a little nervous last night because I was trying to figure out some of the logistics of travel, but I've ironed all that out, and so now I'm good to go. Good to go.
Very good.
So
awesome. Well, this first one is there's a new email from Pokemon Go Fest sleep in. There'll be no lines at 2018 Go Fest.
Oh,
How is that
I read that.
possible?
I read that sleep in no lines at 2018 Go Fest. So, like, don't sleep in any of the lines during Go Fest.
I got you. Yeah. No, you better be awake and ready to walk through the park.
There's no punctuation.
I don't understand how there's not a line, even with 2 entrances.
I think the only line is going to be at will call, to be honest.
I just don't know how that.
I'm just having a hard time picturing it. How's this?
Unless they take you in stages, right? Because
I don't think they're blocking people off.
Well, you know what? You might be right. Maybe there's no fences. Maybe everybody can walk in because there's fences for the first one.
Well, because if you read it, there will be no Pokemon or Pokestops visible in the game unless you've signed in with a QR code.
Oh, gotcha.
They have removed everything.
Yeah, I did see that headline coming up later.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. You could have somebody potentially who's not playing the game, but like if your wife doesn't play and she wants to spend time with you that day, she could walk around with you to all the stops and stuff. She just couldn't, she couldn't play. She didn't have to buy a ticket.
But how do they handle the crowds, right? Because there's a certain amount of people you can have in a certain amount of space at any given time because of fire codes and.
Well, that's why they've got like different stations. Like you go to a specific station.
Do the fire codes apply to a park that has no fence?
Well, not a fire code necessarily. I mean, there's always a max. There's for licensing purposes, for permitting purposes. There's always a max capacity.
Well, but not only that, but inside of the park itself, there's a zoo, so they can't exactly block people off from the zoo either.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Are you going to catch you a lino while you're there, Joe?
There is a lit Leo. It's not in the game though.
I think I've heard of that. I think you've mentioned that one before.
There's a couple of different lion Pokemon that are not out yet. So
yeah,
but none of them are Lionel from
no
Thundercats or whatever.
None of them have a glowing sword that, and when you say Thundercats ho, it puts a beacon out in the sky.
Yeah,
thank goodness for that.
Here's the thing, though. They're saying you don't have to line up. You know there's going to be people camping overnight there to line up, period. Right? I mean,
maybe
there's always a hardcore fan of something doing something, right?
According to the email I got from my media pass, it tells me to go directly into the media tent, which means there's nothing that's going to be blocking me, and that's not at the entrance. That's a little ways in. That's that the media tent is closer to the
well, but they said there's a north and south gate even. So there's got to be places that there's going to be, because you have to scan your QR code. But do they have scanners? Are you going to do it in the game? So many questions that I have, and my organizational brain is not working.
My guess is that at each stop or each station, there's going to be a QR code. So the people who start at that station will scan that QR code to identify that, yes, they are playing this game.
I think you're giving them too much credit.
Really?
I think once you scan it,
yeah.
Like, how did it work last year, Charles? Once you scanned the QR code.
Okay, so there was a gate that you had to go through. You had to get your bag searched and all that jazz. And there's a big funnel. Then as soon as you came in, they handed you a card that had a QR code. There wasn't on the bands. The bands are all paper. So it had a card that they handed you when you came in the gate. You go up to the first Pokestop that was there, and it's physically represented by a nice big cardboard Pokestop.
Mm-hmm.
And you open up your game, and you spun the stop and you go, okay, scan your QR code. And then you would do that. And you had to do it once or twice because of issues. But essentially you'd scan it, and then you're unlocked to do all the open raids and everything else that they had going on.
Yep.
So, but now the code is on your wristband, right?
Yes, it is. So perhaps, I don't know. Guess we'll find out when I get there.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very curious.
And you'll be reporting back. I can't wait to hear how it goes.
Maybe there's one Pokestop at the north and south entrance that'll function similar to how you just described, where you,
because they said you had to pick when you bought your tickets, north and south entrance, and
right.
I'm like, I don't understand. If there's no fences, where do I walk in? I don't know, right? But we do know from the map, right, from last week, that there's essentially a north camp and a south camp. of trainer tents, and I think the North camp has. I mean, looking at the map up and down, being north, I don't know if this is actual direction north. The top end camp had the media tent, and the bottom end camp had just regular trainer tents and whatnot. So I don't know, Joe. All I know is you better find a good cafe with Wi-Fi at the end of Saturday, so you can upload those videos that you're doing. So we
I
can
know, right?
understand, so we can be a part and find out what's going on.
Right. Exactly. We're going to live vicariously through you for the next 3 days.
Absolutely.
Well, and I have 32 gigs worth of SD card for the GoPro that Charles is letting me borrow. 32 gigs, according to the.
I'm kidding. Should be fine.
I was going to say, according to the little thing, is like 6 or 7 hours worth of video.
Yeah.
According to the little sign they had at Walmart.
Well, it depends on your setting. So you need to play with the GoPro before you go, of course. But you put on the highest setting, which I think that one maybe does 4K. I can't remember. It will eat your memory fast. But if you do it at like 720, which is good enough for YouTube and everything else, it'll last a lot longer.
Okay. Well, we'll see how much, because even if I eat up all of the video there, I can use up video on my phone as well.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool. No, it's going to be great. Going to be great.
A few travel tips.
So much fun.
A few travel tips that was triggered from looking at the email here. Of course, it's prepared to be hot, right? But Chicago, I mean, you're from Tennessee, dude. Their hot is not like our hot, so you're going to be fine. But Chicago rains a lot.
Oh no, I dropped it. Now it's broken. Now I'm going to be so hot.
Just threw his phone. Just threw his phone down.
He should have pretended he was throwing the GoPro. That would have been even better.
It was my fan. I've got my fan. It'll be okay.
Oh. Yeah, but definitely make sure you have. They're cheap enough to get at Walmart. One of those waterproof pouches you can put your phone in that will still let you play through the. Well, it didn't rain actively while I had my phone out, so I could play through the vinyl and it would work. But I don't know how rain on it will affect the finger conduction. Blah blah blah. But make sure you have something to protect your phone, right? Yeah. And battery packs. And are they letting you bring in water? Because I couldn't remember.
No. Yes. Yep.
Okay, I thought no outside drinks. Okay.
You're allowed to bring water.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And it has to be a sealed bottle, like what they do at stadiums. You can't fill your own bottle of water because they don't know if it's really water.
Yeah. Which I wonder if I could do like an airport and have an empty water bottle
and fill it once you're in
and
there.
Fill it inside. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll see.
I know Chicago is this wasteland of desolate nothingness, but they probably have a CVS or Walmart maybe in the area. You can probably
but see, the reason why I want to bring my own is because it's got a little handle on it that I could.
You're talking about like a drink bottle, not like an actual bottle of water.
Yeah.
I got
no, I'm gonna use a carabiner and attach it to my see-through backpack.
I got you. Now here's the thing that we were theorizing and that they finally actually confirmed. There will be special Pokemon appearances and raid battles taking place throughout downtown Chicago all weekend. So take advantage of this on the day you don't have a ticket to Pokemon Go Fest. So they're doing stuff in the city around the festival for players that you don't have to be scanned in to see. That stuff's actually going to be going on around the fest. So that's pretty cool too. So
it's cool.
Yeah, man, it's going to be fun. You're going to have a blast there.
Yeah. Did you see so we've only just touched on this email that's come in. But so it's talking about the hot weather like we just touched on and how there might be rain, but I'm going to skip down to 5. We can come back up to 4, but there's going to be contests hosted every 30 minutes at every team tent and habitat. So, I mean, that is a lot of contests.
That is, yeah.
Every 30 minutes. So, yeah. So
you better be ready. You better get your stuff.
I don't even know what's the end time on GoFest, because it's 10 a.m. to
question mark.
Oh, is there a question mark?
No, I don't know.
I thought it was 6 p.m. I thought
it was last year was 6 p.m. So.
Oh, is it 6? Okay.
It was last year. I don't know.
That would make sense.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't have my own packet because Barry has it, and emails that I've gotten regarding the media pass haven't stated one way or the other how long it's going to last. So But yeah, six makes sense. So.
Cool. So get in as much of that Pokemon going as you can. Catch them all, because you have limited time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And again, I hope that the cell towers work and everything works, because you will. What level are you right now, Joe?
I'm 36, almost 37.
All right. So if this goes well and this goes correctly as anticipated, you will be probably level 38.
You think I'll get to 38?
Okay, so last year it did
know.
not go well, but last year tons of Heracrosses and unknowns responding, and the way they did raid battles was they did a raid battle every 30 minutes, and it was free, no raid passes. And they started with Pikachu and went all the way up to Tyranitar was the most powerful at the time, and it had just come out. Tyranitar had. So I mean, you're raiding constantly.
Yeah, and you're getting Pokemon that you don't have, so you're putting new things in your Pokedex.
Yeah.
So.
And now you got the friend thing. Now you got friends you're going to play with that are going to boost you. I think with Lucky Eggs, I think you get at least halfway through. You're absolutely going to level up, and I think you'll get a lot more experience than you think.
Yeah, you think you're going to pop a Lucky Egg for this? I'm curious. I'm just wondering if you're going to.
Maybe not the first day, since I'm not going to have any Pokemon spawning on the first day. But second day, definitely. Well, and if I leave after I'm there for a few hours, I might leave and venture out into the city with some of the people that are not participating on Saturday, but they'll be in town. For instance, Zenzalu or Terry Wolf, they'll be in town, but they won't be part of the event. So maybe I'll meet up with them after lunch or something, and we'll go hit up the town and explore Chicago.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll just meet them for lunch.
I'm not sure how you're going to play.
Go get my deep dish pizza in.
I don't know how you would betray your most favorite co-host on the show and play with people who are dead to me, but you do you, Joe.
And if you could,
and don't worry,
look at yourself in the mirror and do that, then that's just fine.
And I will take a video of me using only Snorlaxes with them in a raid.
That seems futile.
Yeah.
What else do we have going on? We talked about this, we just covered it in the last thing about Lincoln Park, as they've removed everything besides the EX gym from Lincoln Park, which is interesting to me.
All the trees are gone. The pond is gone. Grass is gone.
If they remove the gym, then those EX raids get canceled.
I know, and that's
and so they're not removing it intentionally.
And what my question is, this guy goes in the and maybe we've covered it and I've forgotten. Since there's an EX raid at that gym, does that mean it's going to always be an EX gym, so that if you go raid there, your chances of getting an EX raid pass are higher?
Yeah, any gym that's spawned an EX raid, you have a higher chance of getting an EX raid pass from it. So there's EX raids coming up next Thursday, which is the ones that just went out this last cycle. And so if they had removed that gym, it would kill the passes. It would kill the passes, and so they're not going to kill the gym.
So, but basically, it's already been done. So basically, if you were playing in that area, unless you just want to go to one gym, there's 0 Pokestops now. It is rural Georgia currently in Lincoln Park right now. You'll see one gym for miles is what you'll get there. So and that makes sense. I think that's how they're maybe doing crowd control, right? Because if you're not scanned into the game, you don't see scanned into the fest. You don't see the fest stuff.
The elements. Right.
So you won't want to necessarily go play in the park because there's nothing for you to do. That kind of is what I'm reading into it, and it makes kind of sense. So now you've got to be somewhat of a filthy casual to not have a Zapdos at this point, because I'm a filthy casual and I completed enough researches to get 2 Zapdos. So, but in case you haven't gotten there, Zapdos Day is coming up with Professor Willow's Global Challenge, and that seems to be a new thing that they're really pushing now, of extra legendary things through Professor Willow, Legendary Days. And it's not just one day, though, is it, Joe?
No, I mean, this is crazy. So last week we had Articuno Day and Community Day. This weekend coming up, we're having Go Fest, and then the following weekend we're having Zapdos. And if we keep this up, that means in 3 weeks, so 2 weeks after Zapdos, we're gonna get Moltres. Man, I kind of want a Saturday that's just a me day. But yeah,
don't go play.
I can't do that, especially when they're getting out.
I think he itched himself a little bit there. Did you see that? He's like scratching that itch.
Yeah, like you got a little oh, you're feeling all shaky.
I saw a flash in his eyes like, I will cut a casual. What are you talking about, Willie?
So, I mean, you get 5 free raid passes. So if you have your pass from the previous day and the pass from that day,
and the new pass, right,
plus the 5 free passes, theoretically you could get 7 raids in without using any paid for passes. And so combine that with a couple of lucky eggs or just one lucky egg if you're fast enough, and that is so much experience. Who cares about the Zapdos? Like, getting a shiny Zapdos would be nice.
Yeah, I was thinking
all of that experience.
Yeah, the XP.
Holy cow!
Totally key. What does the shiny Zapdos look like, by the way?
Snuffleupagus.
It's just slightly different. Like the way you see it the most is in the talons. They become more red.
Oh, right. Okay, now I do remember these. Yeah, I know the shinies have been around a lot longer than Pokemon Go, and they're pulling the design of the shinies from the way the shinies looked in the various regular Pokemon games. But man, I wish they would have gone a little further and said, like, all right, he's going to be blue and the Articuno is going to be bright yellow, and it would have been nice if they would have gone a little bit crazier with the shiny look.
The funny thing is, though, we kind of already have the shiny Zapdos, and they're going to be giving us the regular Zapdos because they messed up.
Right. That's right. I remember that we were talking about that when Zapdos first came out, that they were like, somebody had posted a photo of how he looked in the game, outside of Pokemon Go in the game. And and the one that we have is the shiny one.
Yep. So we'll see. Maybe they'll do a shift, because they have been shifting the models just a little bit. Like right before Squirtle Day, they shifted his model a little bit, changed the lighting on it and stuff. So maybe they'll fix the Zapdos we currently have.
Maybe, yeah.
And then we'll just be catching the same old, and it'll be shiny technically.
That is a technicality, right, for the game, and that's something I stress a little bit. The game is different than the Pokemon, because last week we got that review. It's like, I need to brush up on my Pokemon history. Like, no, I play the game. That's what I like. And so technically in the game, if it's different than what we have in the game, to us it's a shiny. Now obviously that might not play into the lore, like you're saying there's a mistake and blah blah blah.
Exactly.
But it's still going to be shiny to us because it's a different model.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the question. Are we going to go, like, are they going to bring out the unshiny Zapdos?
Or are they going to make up their own?
Or
are they going to fix it?
Or are they going to fix it so that all the ones we don't get, like the majority, are going to be the unshiny version, which will be different than the ones that everybody caught, and you'll be trying to catch the shiny, which is the one we had before. It'd be interesting to see which way they go on that.
You think if they changed it to the regular ones are in the game, then the ones that we have that were technically the shinies, whatever, do you think that they'll retroactively change the ones we have? Like, it's in
add the little sparkles, like add the little. It'd be nice. I'd be all right with that.
They might.
No kidding. That means how many? Let's see. It was Moltres was the one that this all happened with, right? Not Zapdos, or was it Zapdos?
I don't know.
It was Zapdos that.
It was Zapdos that happened. For some reason, I thought we were talking about Moltres being the. All right, so I've got 4 that would instantly become shiny Zapdos.
Yeah, I got 2. So yeah.
One of which would be a 93%. Boom, chucka-lucka-lucka.
So what I think they'll probably do is take all of the ones we currently have and fix their sprites, and then fix their issues. But We'll see.
There's a title for the show: Zapdos Got Issues. Somebody put that in.
Somebody submit that. Yes.
I got 99 problems and a Zapdos is one.
Nice. So continuing the theme, this past Community Day, we talked about your experiences with Community Day, but Niantic employees actually went into Lincoln Park and tested playing with a local player group for Community Day.
What? They like are this seems like some sort of preparation that they're doing for Go Fest. Could it be?
But I mean, you guys are more computer savvy as far as what I'm about to ask than I am. I can imagine maybe they have simulations they can run on laptops that would simulate thousands of people playing at once. But other than that, they didn't fly 10,000 or however many people think are being on PokeFest. They didn't fly 2,000 people to play in the park at once to test it. So what do you think they're really testing here, or do you think they're running simulations to test?
I bet it's a combo. I mean, I'll bet it's like typical weekend day probably pulls a bunch of people in there, and the fact that it's Community Day probably pulls a good, larger portion of the local player base. And maybe even word got out that, hey, Niantic says, we're doing some testing, come to Lincoln Park and do your Squirtle hunting there so that we can test and see how things are going. I guess it's DTC is the local player group that they were with. So
downtown Chicago.
Yep. Or Down to Catch.
I'm looking through. They said they've got a sample size of 4,000 plus members on our server, but I'm trying to see. I'm looking at the picture, and that's 20, 30 people that looks like they showed up to play.
Yeah.
That's so. I mean, well, yes, it's a boots on the ground approach, and they're testing the traffic network and latency in the game, and they had to be running some kind of extra simulations because that's just not a test. Right. I mean, I could pull that in Covington, Georgia, where we don't have a huge group like 4,000. I mean, downtown Chicago group has 4,000 on their server. We maybe have a couple hundred. We could easily pull 30, 40 people if it was a Mewtwo raid or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious.
What they could have done is just did something similar to what spoofing would do, sort of, except they just increased the network traffic with fake requests to the server. So maybe they added, a few thousand people to simulated a few thousand more people playing or something like that. So, I mean, there is testing that they can do that's more than just simulated testing. Like it's It is technically simulated, and yet at the same time, it's real-time testing because it's an event that's currently going on. I kind of hope that's not what they did during Community Day, just because if something went wrong, they just screwed a lot of people out of a good experience on Community Day.
Well, according to the interview...
Better to screw them out of Community Day than screw them out of
fast. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You're not wrong.
But bad to screw them out of either one. But yeah,
yeah. Well, according to the interview, he said he's played a bunch of Community Days, and the spawns were insane. So they ramped up the volume on the spawns apparently.
I gotta say too, DTC's website is exemplary as far as like as a Pokemon community. They've got a link that goes right to their Discord. They've got merch that you can buy. They tell you the events coming up. So not just Go Fest, obviously, but like Community Day and what's going to be going on there, EX raids, where they're going to be at, things like that. It's a really, they've really got their stuff together as far as this. They even have leaderboards for the local players, as far as what rank they are, how many they've caught, or things like that, and like even a little bit of a bio on them, which is kind of cool. I like that.
It's nice to have an organization. I wish.
Yeah, no kidding. It's nice to have a person who can work on the website. I wish we had some.
I don't mean for our stuff. No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
I'm saying it. You may not be saying it, but I'm saying it. No, that's really cool.
So, Niantic says that cell service providers says that they're ready for the weekend. So, that's what they claim.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that they said that they were ready. Like it's a lot
What's
of like
what
they're
they
already
said from
they're
the
already
stage
warming up
last
the
year.
fingers to do
Yeah.
some very in-depth pointing if they need be. Like, all right, finger exercises at the ready. Now, whose fault is it? Go.
Well, to be fair, last year the only people that were actually ready
Yeah.
was Sprint, and they weren't even fully ready.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think most of the Sprint users' issues were actually on Niantic servers, but yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. But this year, Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile are all bringing cows to the event. Actually, there's images already circulating of them set up. I'm not sure if it's in this article that we've got here, but I saw some of the pictures of the cows set up and ready to go for GoFest. So
Yeah. T-Mobile's rolled out 4 additional sites, cell sites. Verizon's installed 2 mobile cell sites. AT&T's putting out 2. This is deploying as of this article, so they're still working on it. Sprint has put out 1. So, I don't know.
So if I've got issues, I know who to blame. I've got Sprint, and if they're only putting out 1.
Well, I'll be watching. I won't be there, but I will be watching the excitement going
now,
on.
Joe, that's something to be said, Ibbott, that you just reminded me of.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make sure you know how to do a Facebook Live video from your phone, so you can do some of those throughout the day.
I've never done a Facebook Live.
Exactly. That's why Charles will give you the class tomorrow or tonight or sometime.
I'll call you on the planes.
5 minutes. Yeah. It'll take you 5 minutes to learn. It's actually really, really easy, and it'll be good to get your
I would imagine, as smart as you are, Joe, you could probably, when we get off the show, open up your phone and figure out yourself within a minute or 2 or less. Less than a minute even.
Mm-hmm.
It's really set up to be super easy. And I believe you're already an admin on the Facebook page, which is all you have to be able to do it. So
okay, right. Yeah, it's probably not too bad. I just have never tried. So
yeah, all right. And then Korea is getting in on the action, right? Pokemon Go special weekend, and is that going on at the same time? Because I'm opening it up right now. Is that oh man, I already see 7-Eleven on there. It's one of my favorite places in the world.
So this is going on, not this weekend. Not the next weekend, but the weekend after.
Okay.
And so this is happening.
We talked about this a little
July
bit. Where
29th.
it's a free event, but you had to have the code to get in. You had to register for free.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And it's specifically through their sponsors. So 7-Eleven, Lotteria, and SK Telecom. Man, SK Telecom is all over the gaming scene, aren't they? But yeah, so quantity is limited apparently, and so you can obtain your invitation ticket at the T-World stores at those specific locations. So at the 3, Lotteria, 7-Eleven, and SK Telecom, and it will function. It sounds like it'll function very similar to GoFest, where you have a QR code on your invitation ticket. And you scan it, and then it gives you access to the event from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., except for some areas, is what it says.
Yeah, and they keep using this phrase, pocket stop. The sponsor's pocket stop. So that means you have to go to one of the stores, imagine, are right there in the area.
I think pocket stop is just a poor translation. It's probably a pokey stop.
That's fair, because this was not originally in English, so that might be.
Like a weird.
But I thought it was like our Starbucks, where Starbucks had its own special stop. I like that term. I want to go to a 7-Eleven pocket stop, get me a
pocket stop,
Pikachu Slurpee, and scan in. But they're gonna have some unknowns in Dratini, it looks like. So.
Oh, cool.
That's nifty. So get your plane ticket ready, Ibbott. You need to go.
Yeah. I don't see you doing that one either. I mean,
and you've already got a Farfetch, so why would you go?
Right, exactly. I need Mime, and I need Kangaskhan.
You know who has a lot of mimes?
The British.
France.
Barry.
Oh, he just came back from Europe. That's right. He went all over Europe.
Barry, when are you coming to? You got to be coming to Colorado soon, because He's got a relative going to college here, a daughter that's going to
Yeah,
college.
yeah. See, Barry, I don't like that Ibbott won that battle because they looked at Georgia Tech, and I can't. I mean UGA. They look at UGA, and I campaigned hard for UGA, and you won that battle, Ibbott. You got
look at that.
was it University of Colorado? Is that where she's going?
It's CSU up in Fort Collins.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is it CSU or UNC? I think it's either. I think it's CSU and Fort Collins. I don't think she's doing UNC Greeley, but if she is, that's where Tina went for a couple of years. So, what's his Genghis Khan situation like? What's that going? What has he got going on there? Do you know?
I don't think he's been. You guys need to hop in the Discord that's for the coordination.
I know we need to.
He's been listing. Hey, I've got this to trade. I've got this to trade. And so, yeah, he's been listing all the different things he's got available.
Joe, you tell him to hold a Kangas and a mine for Ibbott.
That's right. I'm holding a box of his daughter's bedding hostage because it was easier to ship it here than the school. So here's how that trade's going to go, Barry. No, he already sent like, just as a goodwill gesture, he sent some Lou Malnati's pizza from Chicago here to the house.
Wow,
so
nice.
They make this amazing deep dish pizza, which most people call lasagna with a crust. He had it sent here, and it's frozen. We just thawed out and baked it. It's fantastic. We've already enjoyed 2 of the 4, and we're gonna have another one as soon as Tina's back.
Nice, Nicole. I will take a Mr. Mime for sure. She goes, if she ever comes to the U.S., you're getting all my Mr. Mimes. So if you'd like to help Nicole come, sub up on this Twitch project.
Right. Yes.
We'll get her to fly out for Atlanta
kidding.
Fest. Bring her to Dragon Con. Maybe then it'll come to Dragon Con.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, exactly. Dude, I want to go so bad.
I know. All right, so we got some rarities besides Nicole in the U.S. There's more rarities out there. The low-ends have some uncommon, and I'm a little surprised by this, being that Mew apparently is not Mew.
Meowth.
Meowth, thank you. Meowth is apparently uncommon, whereas that one. Well, okay, I see it now. Then why? Where's a common? Where's a common low one? Because Meowth
There's
apparently.
No commons. Yeah.
Oh, that's just bad nomenclature right there. Is what that is. Because the Rattata and the Sandshrew come out all the time, which I think is cool. And then there's Rare, which is the Muck, and the Hyper Rare, which is the Vulpix. See, I actually do know things, people. I just get tired by the time we get here.
Why did the Meowth even, or why did the Rattata even come out of eggs? Because
they're
you can get it in the wild anyway.
Yeah. And I've heard that you can get the Meowth in the wild as well. I haven't personally seen one yet, but I've heard that they're in the wild as well.
At this point, though, I've stopped opening gifts when I don't have an egg. Like if I have an open spawn in my eggs, I don't open gifts until I've hit a Pokestop and filled that egg spot, because I don't want any more Alolan Pokemon.
Oh, really?
Do you have all of them now?
I have all of them, including the evolutions. So I've got
I'm still missing the Vulpix.
Oh yeah, the Ninetales.
See, I just want one of the Grimers because.
Or do you don't have a Vulpix either?
No.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh well, I gotta check. I don't think I do.
What I've been doing though is I make sure that I save, like, because of our listeners being all over the place, I made sure that I saved all of the ones from other locations. So it's like, all right, I've got, I can just do Alolan, can't I? I think so. Yes. So I can say, all right.
You can type Alola or Alolan, and it will show all of your.
Right. So like looking through here, I've got a Meowth from Paris, France. I've got a Meowth from Richland, Washington.
That's me.
Oh, that's you. See,
that's for me.
Cool. Greensburg, Indiana. So it's like, now are these really good trade materials then? Like, do people get the 3 egg bonuses, the rare or not rare, the candy bonus,
the distance bonus? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. You do. So these are good ones to trade with people. You want the Parisian Meowth for some extra candy?
I got my Meowth came from Vienna, Austria. It literally says nice. Vienna, Austria.
Austria, isn't that's where Nicole is, right? I think that came from Nicole.
I bet that's from her.
Then my Persian came from Brazelton, Georgia.
I've got one from Espino, Aveiro, Portugal. So it's like I also want to put the I kind of want to put where they're from in the names so that
I did that with all of my Washington catches as I went and changed all their names to WA.
Okay, people watching the video right now can see that my muck is from Lens des Saunières Franches in France. I'm gonna rename this guy Le Muck.
I think the screen locked again. They can't see that.
Oh, really?
But Real Dirty Jim says yes. The Lowlands are great traders. My Sandshrew came from Sapulpa, Oklahoma. That's where that came from.
Nice. There we go.
Whoever's out of Sapulpa. But I think the Persian came from Will Oglesby. I think so. That king sent me.
Now they can see that my muck came from France. It's Le Muck. Oh, maybe not yet. Is it not sharing yet?
Yeah, it's not
we can't see anything, Brian.
So anyway, we got distracted. But there's a nice graphic here that shows you the percent. So the Vulpix is hyper rare at 3.4%. 1 out of 29 hatches. You'll get that according to TheSilphRoad. Nice. So I'm walking 3 eggs right now, 3 Alolan. So
I've got all the rest except the Vulpix.
All right, is it sharing now?
No.
Well, that stinks because I'm about to go to the airport to pick up my wife. So that sharing that I was doing, that I thought I was doing, I'm not doing it anymore.
Apparently, you've been frozen the whole time.
Oh, that's a bummer. I'm just realizing that there's a thing up at the top of the Zoom thing that says your screen sharing is paused, but I didn't pause it. I wonder if there was a timeout or something.
You know, it says that to me too. Like when I do just my video on Sundays, and that's how I capture the game I do on Sundays. It'll actually say your share is paused, but it really isn't. It's active. I don't know.
Oh, that's weird.
So
well, sorry, folks. Just imagine a muck with all the different Spumoni colors, the melting muck, and it says La Muck. Huh, okay.
La Muck.
And with that, I'm out.
The Ibbott has run away.
That's right. Have a good rest of the show, guys. I will see you next week.
At 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
At our new time, yes. All right. Hopefully I'm going to leave the meeting. Hopefully this doesn't mess things up. Talk for a while, Joe. Maybe it's a good time to talk about random trivia. I don't know.
No, not random trivia. Bye.
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 All right. I'm gonna reset the camera, make it look better. But I got to ask you real quick about this. What is network traffic that we have all these cool looking psychedelic Pokemon? Then we'll talk about what they are. But what is network traffic? Is that like code diving?
Yeah, it's very similar to code diving. Basically, these images were added to the game when it updated. So we've got, and all of these came with their shiny forms as well. So we've got Smeargle, Celebi, Jirachi, I'm gonna blank.
Ninjago. It's Ninjago. You know what
it's Ninjask. Ninjask and
this is a family show, Joe. You need to watch it.
My bad, chicken. Ninkata, Ninjask, Shedinja.
Ooh, careful.
So Ninkata, when it evolves, actually turns into 2 Pokemon, and that's probably why it hasn't been added just yet. And then the other ones are Clamperl, I think. Clamperl and Huntail. Yeah. Clamperl and Huntail. And it doesn't show Gorbis in here yet. So Gorbis is Clamperl's other evolved form. So I'm kind of surprised that that's not in there because it's got a split evolution there. And then it's got the different forms of Deoxys. So
they look very Power Rangers bad guys. So, I just want to see that's that bottom row. Deoxys is what you said?
Yeah. So from left to right, it's the normal form, and then it is the attack form, then the defense form, and then the speed form.
So Terry's saying his guess is the Ultra Unlock will be Mewtwo with a chance if shiny, I think is what he meant. Then he will leave the X-Raids and Deoxys will become the new X-Ray.
Ultra Unlock.
I don't know. That's what he says.
I'm not sure what that is, to be honest, but guess we'll find out. It's a good guess. It's a good guess.
That is so Snoopy in Technicolor. That top left.
Top left. Oh,
that is straight
Smeargle?
up Snoopy in Technicolor. French.
Yeah.
He's got a beret.
Smeargle is actually the last Gen 2 Pokemon left that we do not have. Well, I mean, besides Celebi. So those top two are the last two that we need from Generation 2. And then all of them will be in the game.
Awesome. Well, that's going to be it for the headlines. I want to do a nice shout out to everybody, to Nicole991 for being our awesome mod and helping out in the chat room, as always. Then we got Bungie Beats, Commander Root, Darkwing Duck, Alberto667, the bots there, LAP, Courtesy Flush, love that name, Lady Jasmine, Lupin8907, Fire King 17, Storm Chaser 1121, Terry Wolf, The Real Dirty Jim, VNK, Virgo Pros, Vladivostok. Wait, I can do this. Vladivostok. Dang it! There's no V. Vladivostok 0. Willie Scissors 617. I'm sorry, that's probably Willie Sizor 617. My bad. And Sinzaloo is in the room. And again, we are now affiliates with Twitch. If you would like to help out the show, you can go and watch us live here on Twitch on Thursday nights, now at 7:30 p.m. Eastern every Thursday night. And you can do your sub with your Amazon Prime, your Twitch Prime. You can hit cheer and throw some bits at us. You can also go patreon.com/Pokemon GO Podcast and join our awesome community and Discord group and do some great stuff there as well. Besides the self-promotion, Joe, what time is it?
It is time for random trivia. And this week I want to talk about Smeargle, since it looks like he will be added to the game shortly, possibly at GoFest, maybe, ? He is the painter Pokemon. And part of the reason why he hasn't been added to Pokemon Go is because he has a move called Sketch. And when he uses the move Sketch, he permanently copies the last move used by his opponent. And so that unique mechanic is probably why they haven't added him to the game just yet. I'm a touch surprised, just because we have Ditto in the game and he transforms and gets any move. I mean, it's temporary, but it could also be because they also have to add in the animations for every single move to him. We'll have to wait and see. So as the game keeps going further, they'll have to add even more animations to that.
Yeah, here's how they do it easily. They just have him scribble paint real quick and make up a dust cloud, then all of a sudden you just got hit with, whatever the movie got. No animation, right? All of a sudden it says he used whatever movie copied. Struggle. He used struggle. And you never see it because he's just sketching so fast there's a dust cloud. Yeah, that's how you feel.
They could do that if they wanted to. And maybe they will. His gold version Pokedex entry says that a special fluid oozes from the tip of its tail, aka the paint. It paints the fluid everywhere to mark its territory. So marking his territory just like a dog's helps your Snoopy theory.
That's just gross. I'm just stepping out right now. That's just gross.
Yeah, well, it happens. So we don't have breeding in the game just yet, but due to him having Sketch, he's able to pass down all kinds of egg moves to any of the eggs that come from breeding with him. So, I mean, that is fantastic to have that kind of dynamic availability. So if breeding ever gets added to the game, Smeargle is going to be a nice commodity if they have egg moves available. But perhaps he doesn't. Smeargle appears to be a combination of Smear and Beagle, which once again furthers your Snoopy theory, because was not Snoopy a beagle?
Mm-hmm. He was indeed.
So there we go. Smeargle is based off of a beagle and a painter. So the evidence is there.
It is. It totally is there. Okay, I'm looking at the anime still shot here and the thing, and he does it not as much, but the reference sheet for the anime, it still has influences heavily of Snoopy. I think, depending on who's drawing them at the time, but.
Yep. So yeah, he's a fun Pokemon. Stats wise, he's nothing special, but he has a lot of possibilities just because of that signature move sketch, allowing him to have any move in the game.
Awesome. And shout out, thank you to the Real Dirty Jim for hitting that Twitch Prime subscription. You're the man, and we appreciate you. Let's see. There was a question I had. Okay, so on this Bulba Garden, right? I notice every time we do these trivias, I go with you and I look at it, and they have this body style and footprint. I don't understand the body style because it's never like what they are in the game. So what does this body style mean?
It's just a generic little. There's a list of different body styles that ones can have, and so if you actually click on the word body style, it'll take you to all the different references of the different body styles, and so it's just a generic category that people go into, and same with the footprint. So just based off of that, yeah, it doesn't have any real relevance. Just like the Pokédex color being white doesn't have much relevance. Now, base friendship does have a bit of relevance in the video games, the Game Boy games, but not so much in Pokemon Go, because they are doing friendship based off of how long you've set them as your buddy. So if they ever introduce breeding, though, the egg group will matter, because they have to share an egg group in order to breed. So Smeargle, for instance, is field egg group, so he can only breed with other Pokemon that are in the field egg group. Okay. Some examples of that are Vulpix, Rattata. Even Doug Trio is in that list. But yeah, it's a huge list. So, and then the hatch time. So that's the number of steps in the Game Boy game that you need. That could also get implemented into Pokemon Go because distance is measured. Perhaps the amount of kilometers required to hatch an egg from breeding will vary, because that does vary based on how well the two parents get along. At least in the Game Boy games, that's how it works. So that could be a factor once it comes to Pokemon Go. But yeah.
All right.
Some random trivia on the random trivia.
I could definitely see that we already have the kilometers for hatching and this and stuff. So what you were just talking about with the mechanics, other than the parents getting along type of deal, I could already see all that stuff in the game. Now, speaking of a mechanic, we've had friend codes out for a couple of weeks now. And Joe, I want you do this trivia stuff. You do that in-depth whatever you just talked about, because I went to sleep for a second. Sorry. No, I'm just messing with you. No, you know this stuff, and you know it well. So, in Pokemon Go, with the friend codes, we know what it does right now, right? It gets you extra XP. You do a little bit more damage in the raids, blah, blah, blah. Those little things. Where do you see it going in 6 months or a year from now? Where do you see them building with the friendships, the real life friend code friendships in the game?
I'd assume you'd have to be friends to battle. So once they put PvP in, but other than that, I'm not sure where they're going to go with it. Perhaps
I'm saying where they could go, because like what you just said with in the Game Boy game, the parents get along, blah blah blah. What if they bring in breeding to the game, but you have to breed with a Pokemon from another trainer, so your friendship level is how the parents get along.
So in the Game Boy games, you could increase your probability of of getting a shiny from an egg after breeding if you got Pokemon from different regions. So they could possibly implement that in, which, I mean, you don't necessarily have to be friends with someone in order to accomplish this, but if they added other Pokemon to friend eggs, then and that's something they could do. I mean, that's not necessarily anything huge, but they could add special eggs to the friendship gifts instead of just the 7K Lowland eggs. They could add in some special 10K eggs,
100K egg,
and they could do stuff like that. We'll have to wait and see how that goes, but yeah, they could do all kinds of stuff like that.
Nice. Gotcha.
But yeah, and so one thing we've mentioned in the past, but haven't mentioned yet this show, and this is a source unrelated to what we're actually talking about right now. But Go Fest going this weekend, their rewards will actually be unlocked from the 16th to the 23rd based on research tasks that are accomplished during Go Fest. So just like with Dortmund, how they unlocked everything, the things that will get added are it all impacts candies. So probably it doesn't say, it just says increased, but it'll probably double the catch candy, increased hatch candy, reduced egg hatching distance, and increased rare candies from raids. If all of the bonuses get unlocked, which I suspect that they will.
Yeah, I suspect that they will too.
Terry is throwing out a few ideas into chat regarding the friendship, what we were talking about a moment ago, that perhaps in-game chat will be added that you have to be friends for. Perhaps guilds will become a thing, or teams that are different from the teams that we already have, the 3 teams. I kind of don't think guilds will get added, but it is definitely an idea, a possibility. And with just like Terry says, with Niantic, you never know.
Yeah.
So
we got a few things to promote here before we get out. Of course, you, sir, are going to be at Pokemon Go Fest this weekend, and you'll be there both days because Saturday you're there as media, and then Sunday you're there as a player, and you're going to try to do some meetups with Terry and Zinzaloo and some other people. What is the easiest way for somebody to connect with you if they want to meet you or hang out with you during the weekend at Go Fest?
So the easiest way would be to join the Discord chat specifically that I have set up for Go Fest. I've tweeted it out several times. I've put it on our Facebook page. I will do that again tonight, just to make sure that everyone who wants in can be in. I've posted it on the live stream chat as well. So that is the best way, is to hop onto the coordination chat and either send me a direct message on there on Discord, or just ping me in the Discord chat itself. And if you're not familiar with Discord, the way you ping someone or specifically mention someone is use the @ symbol and then type their name, and it'll start giving you a list of all the people who match what you've started typing, so you can just click on me. But yeah,
awesome. And we will put the we're going to tell you where the Facebook page and Twitter is here in just a second, for sure, because I hate listening to podcasts like, yeah, just go find it on our page. Where's your page, dude? But no, we actually do that in the show. We're going to tell you where to find the page. Starting tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, if you're listening to this live and you're in Atlanta, you can come hang out with me at Atlanta Comic-Con, because I'll be there all day, all weekend. So it'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm doing 2 panels, and I'm moderating 4 others. It's going to be great, fun time. And fun little story, I've done some guest spots on a show called Bed, Love, Beyond. And that host was like, hey, I'm coming down to Atlanta for a bit. Let's hang out. Let's go do something. And I was like, sure, absolutely. And he just hit me up last night. He's like, hey, Sunday night, do you think we can get together and do some dinner? I was like, yeah, maybe, because I'm going to be wrapping up Atlanta Comic-Con, and then I'm going to be possibly doing a Pokemon Go playtime, where everybody can come out and we'll raid in the afternoon. So we'll see. And the funny thing was, the reason I bring this up is he's actually coming for Atlanta Comic-Con, and I never said that to me. So we're actually going to hang out all weekend. But that brings up the point. if you want to hang out with me, because this show will be out before Sunday. It'll be out Friday evening. Typically, is when this goes up. So you might miss me on Friday, but if you're listening to the podcast or through live or on YouTube, Saturday the 14th and Sunday the 15th, I will be at Atlanta Comic Con, which is at the Georgia Congress Center and downtown Atlanta. And Sunday afternoon, starting at 3 o'clock, I will be available to raid if you want to come down. Centennial Olympic Park is right there. It's within walking distance, so you can come and hang out. And if you want, just let me know. I'm on Twitter at RockGottaPod. You can just direct message me or at me there, and I'll keep an eye on that. Be the easiest way to coordinate to play. And then, Joe, you and I are going to be together with the one and only Tara Sands at DragonCon this year.
So is it actually official now?
She wants to do it. We want to do it. It's a 90% yes official.
It's
90%
pseudo official.
Yeah, pseudo official. It's looking great. Honestly, nothing's ever official at DragonCon because what might happen is all of a sudden she gets invited to some big, huge hoodoo that her publisher or publicist or whatever says, hey, no, you need to go do this instead because it's going to get you more work. And she'll have to go, sorry, guys, I can't be there. And has to go, and nobody's going to fault her for that, Other than that, she's on the schedule. She's been approved to be on the panel, so it's 90% there, so you can come see Pokemon Go Podcast live at DragonCon. Still going to wait to announce the time till August because that's a safe time to announce times. And Tara Sands will be on with us to hang out, and we had her on before, and you can check out that episode on PokemonGoPodcast.com. So I think that's all the live appearances. And nope, one more. Brian Ibbott will be at Podcast Movement in Philadelphia next weekend. It's this month, I believe. It's either next weekend or weekend after. So if you're in the Philadelphia area or you're going to be at Podcast Movement, definitely hit us up on the Facebook page so that we can get you in touch with Ibbott so that you can do a meetup and play with him. He loves meeting up with the listeners and rating and doing all that kind of stuff.
Podcast Movement is July 23rd to the 26th.
So next weekend. Because this weekend's the 15th, 16th, or this weekend's the 13th, 14th, 15th. Yeah.
It's not even a weekend, is it?
You know what? You're right. I think that's like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is what it sounds like.
Yeah, that is a Monday, Tuesday, Monday through Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, they do. Sometimes these cons do weird things like that. But it is more of a professional con than a fan con. So maybe it's because, well, if you're going to be working, I don't know why they do that, but he'll be there, so you can check that out. You can email us, show@PokemonGoPodcast.com. We love hearing from you. You can leave a voicemail, PokemonGoPodcast.com. Right there on the right-hand side is a nice little tab that says, hey, leave your message. You click on it with any device that has a microphone. It can be your phone, laptop, tablet, whatever. You got a microphone, click on it. It'll say, yes, I want to do this. 90 seconds. You got a voicemail, and we'll play it on the show. It'll be awesome. Reddit is /r/Pokemon Go Podcast. Facebook is Pokemon Go Podcast. Twitter's @Pokemon Go Pod. And in Twitter, the @Pokemon Go Pod, that's where you've been tweeting out the Discord thing, right? Or is it on yours?
I've been putting it all over the place.
Okay.
But yeah, it's on the official Facebook page and the official Twitter page for the podcast. So
right. So, and of course, we do this live on twitch.tv/Pokemon Go Podcast. Again, starting next week, it'll be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern every single Thursday night. So you can set your calendar to it. You know how your calendars get off. You got to reset them sometimes. You can do that.
I need to fix my calendar for it.
Yeah, you actually do. You actually have to change your calendar for it. And, if you missed the live show, if you're only here live, you came in late, you can check out the whole show on podcast by downloading it on iTunes, Stitcher, and our favorite Satchel podcast player at satchelplayer.com. You can get that. It's an amazing podcast player. You can download it. And you can even go to youtube.com/Pokemon Go Podcast. And some of these actually make it over to the channel when we remember to hit the button to send them over there. So some of the videos are there too. Oh my God, lots of stuff to find us. Just search Pokemon Go Podcast. Will come up first in the Google searches. Joe, where can they find you on the web?
You can find me at Joseph_Ard.
You can find Brian Ibbott, who had to leave early tonight, at Coverville. And you can find me and all of my shenanigans at Rock God of Pod, and that's going to be lit this weekend because I'm going to be doing all kind of tweeting and live broadcasting and meeting people and hanging out and doing cool stuff. So check out at Rock God of Pod and on Facebook.com/Rock God of Podcasting. I see an interested face here. What is that, Jeff?
you said our YouTube was youtube.com/Pokemon Go Podcast.
That's
I
what
tried
it's
that.
supposed
It doesn't work.
All right. Well, I don't know. Brian was supposed to set that up. I don't know what to tell you.
That might be the user, but to actually get youtube.com/Pokemon Go Podcast to redirect, you actually have to become like an affiliate or something.
Oh, okay. Maybe we haven't made the marker because I'm pretty sure that's the user. So if you just search on YouTube, Pokemon Go Podcast, you'll find it. Oh yeah, no, we ain't 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, you're right, Nicole. They did just change that recently. I forgot about that. So all right, that's all our great stuff this weekend. Next week, you know the experience of the week is going to be Ibbott, nothing, me, nothing, Joe, everything. Because it's going to be a wrap up from Pokemon Go Fest. But you're going to tune in to hear Joe say,
oh man, I am so excited. I'm going to get zero work done tomorrow.
I know you need the money.
None of my coworkers listen to this.
I know you need the money, but yeah, it's not the day to go to work, man.
I just don't have the PTO to take it off. So
I know. No, I get that. All right, let me stop the podcast recording here.
So I'm sitting here searching for Pokemon Go Podcast on YouTube. I cannot find us.
See if it goes to Giant Size Team Up. Look at Giant Size. I think it should be Pokemon Go on YouTube.com. I think we got Giant Size Team Up before they changed the rules. I'm not sure. So that might be /Giant Size Team Up. All right. So if you're still here live, the podcast recording has ended, but you still get to play the game with us. So check out that link I just put in the chat there where it's showbot.tv/s/blah, blah, blah. Pokemon to vote for all the titles. Everybody's been suggesting it on titles tonight. And now I got to go look at YouTube because
so I tried youtube.com/user/Pokemon Go Podcast. Nothing.
Brian said he said something up. Where is it? It's put. There's something that pushes over. Screw you guys for stealing our shit.
Giant Size Team Up does not work. GSTU.
All right, there's too many too many YouTube video creators to find Pokemon Go Podcast, apparently. And come on. Tips, we talked to you, man. You can't call your stuff Pokemon Go Podcast. That's their name. It's not cool, man.
Who? What?
Trainer Tips has put out a number of videos that have the word Pokemon Go Podcast in them. I was like, Giant Size Team Up Network.
And same with Hybrid Mongoose.
Really? Yeah. And that's the thing. YouTube is not a podcast. It's a YouTube video. So Giant Size Team Up works. I mean, it's not Giant. It's YouTube. You have to look up Giant Size Team Up Network, and it's all the Marvel Strike Forces. So I have to look at what. Let me look at what Twitch is locked into now. And while we're doing all this stuff, everybody go vote for the title. You get your chance to title the show.
Apparently, the Real Dirty Jim found ours, but we can't find our own.
That's funny. Because it definitely goes to somewhere. And Jim, I don't think Jim can post a link because he's not a mod.
Yeah, but he can send it to us in
he can
Discord.
Whisper it. Hey, pretty girl, let me whisper in your ear. I got a link to Pokemon Go Podcast. So let's see what's winning. Right now, we've got Joe representing in Chicago at number 3 by Terry Wolf. The Ibbott Has Fled by Nicole991. I'm putting that one in. I'm voting for that one. Pokemon Ard Fest by Courtesy Flush. Pogo Fest 2018 Prologue by Zinzlo. That's a good one. I'm going to vote for that one. Terry Wolf is Dead to Me submitted something. I don't know. I'm going to skip that one. 2 years later, and Charles is still a noob. Thank you, Courtesy Flush. Yeah, actually, you know what's funny is I'm almost.
Nicole posted our channel for us.
Thank you. All right, cool. So there you go. There's a link, and I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna click it. Then I'm gonna copy that and put it in our show notes so that people can find it on the podcast. Yes, just call Pokemon Go. Oh, it's all one word. Pokemon Go Podcast is one word. Maybe is that what you think that stopped you from finding
maybe.
it?
Let's see. Let me try typing in YouTube Pokemon Go Podcast one word and see if I can.
I don't know. But yeah, the stuff's there, and actually, I've been doing better about pushing it over. So
Nope.
I'm gonna push over tonight's. Done here.
Oh man, searches related to YouTube, Pokemon Go Podcast, Trader Tips, Cassie YouTube, Pokemon Go Trader Tips, latest Trader Tips videos.
Yeah. Hakuna Matata, Bazinzlu. We've done that one, I think. Fields on Wheels, Terry Wolf. Vladis Vostok. Dang it! I can do this. Vladis Vostok 0 is going to be great. I like that one. It's going to be great. Some of my coworkers listen to this. My Terry Wolf. All right. So right now, the Ibbott has fled is at 5. Joey representing Chicago is at 3. So you got just another minute. Let me read the chat room here. All right, Pablo, you're daddy now, and you're home. I appreciate that. Thank you for subscribing, Fire King. Let's see, vote Pokemon art. Let's do. All right. All right, everybody. What do you think, Joe? Is that gonna be about it for tonight, sir?
Yeah. So it's the Ibbott has fled or Pokemon Ard Fest. Those are the top 2.
And Mathlete, you jumped in right here last. He says they changed it so that you can no longer get healing potions from the Pokestops.
Interesting.
But not only as rewards from raids, I still get a ton of potions from friends.
But
from
well, and can you still get potions from gyms, just not Pokestops?
So,
because at one point they had changed it, tweaked it so that you got a ton more from gyms. Yeah, okay. You can still get them from gyms, is what people are saying. Not that it matters. I've got way too many potions and everything. So.
Yeah, but I know because I delete the lower end potions because I don't raid, so I don't need them.
Yeah.
I keep getting them from friends, the gifts from friends. So get friends, man. I'm sure you have plenty. That sounded like
I've got to get back to trimming down my items now. I'm up to 2,000 items.
Jeezy, crazy, man.
So,
all right, thanks everybody. Follow us. Make sure you hit the follow button so you know when we're live here on Twitch. Let's see if I did a follow command on this channel. Let's see. I did. There's a follow command on Twitch.
Hey,
right
look at that. Yeah. So, and we will, like we've said numerous times, moving forward from now until we make a special announcement saying we changed our mind. It'll be 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
This one was more of a business decision than anything else this time around.
Yeah, well, and it's to help everybody, so that it's not like, what time are you again? It's not just, it'll be good. You've only got 3 friends on your list?
I'm helping them out. I tell them to go to our Facebook page and post his friend code. And
or just post your friend code here in the chat. I'm sure people will add you.
Yeah, if you go ahead and post it now. I agree with Joe. I think people will friend you right now, and you know what? I'll friend you if you post in the chat right now. I'll put you on my friends list, and definitely go to Facebook and post it, and we'll make sure to promote it out, and we'll get you some friends to play with. It's all about community, man. It's all about fun.
Yeah, and who cares if they're your friends in real life?
It's about real life, yeah.
So because if you've got people from all over the world, then you'll get eggs from all over the world. And even if you don't need the Alolan versions, then you can trade them to get a ton of distance on your trading medal. So
there you go. Mm-hmm. All right, we got to get out of here because it's way past time for my dinner. I'm starving.
Yeah, and I've got to go pack.
You got to pack them all like nobody's ever done before.
Got to pack them all.
That's right. All right, and I'm sure Joe will figure out how to do the Facebook Live and do some videos for us as he's at the fest this weekend. That'll be awesome. Bye, everybody.
Bye, and hey, if you are in our Discord, no one's been hopping in, but I hop in the voice chat every week. So, but yep.